Hierarchy is about guiding the eyes of the viewer via type, color, shape, and other design tools. The goal is to, at a glance, inform the user what is most important, what's next most important, what's next, etc. Everything on the page should use visual cues that establish these levels of importance. You want to guide your customer or your user towards finding the answers that they're looking for, so that they can fairly quickly look at the design, take it all in, understand what the site or application is, and know the options they have to choose from, or what actions they can take. Thus, they can comfortably make a decision. For a marketing page, the decision you might lead them towards could be deciding to watch a product preview, or to view or try out a demo, to start a free trial, or to buy something right away. For an application, it would be specific to whatever tools or services you are providing. You could lead them towards various actions. You'd use hierarchy to help teach the user how to use the application. With the Scottish Rubis site, the primary tools I'm using to establish a hierarchy of importance are typography, shape, and color. 1. Let's look at the typography. Typography, I find, is perhaps the most important tool in this regard, as establishing a hierarchy of type can go a long way in successfully leading a user through an interface design. With type, you primarily have 3 levers to pull on: type of font or font family, font weight, how bold or light it is, and font size, how big or small the font is. With the Scottish Rubis site, I'm using all 3 levers to establish a hierarchy of type. For headers, I'm using a typeface called Scholar Sans Latin Compressed, and I'm using a limited set of various weights and sizes, where the biggest and boldest are at the top of the hierarchy. I use this top-level font for the most important text, or the text that should be read first on a page, as you can see from some of these examples. For body and description text, I'm using Proxima Nova. I'm only using a few sizes depending on context, and only regular or bold weights as needed for clarity in certain spots, as shown. 2. Let's look at color. With color, you again primarily have 3 levers to pull on to help establish a hierarchy of importance. The position of the color, what colors is it next to? The brightness of the color, how bright or dull is the color? The amount of the color, is the color used in a limited fashion, or is the color used in abundance? These levers are pulled to create relationships and contrast between the colors of your palette. These relationships can move things up or down in their order of importance. With the Scottish Rubis site, we have the base colors, which are less important since there's a lot of them, the whites, blacks, and grays, and then 2 highlight or primary colors, which are used strategically for buttons or flags, things of higher importance. The primary way you see this hierarchy color scheme is with buttons. We have primary buttons, the most important calls to action, and secondary buttons. This contrast of the Scottish Rubis blue is meant to make the blue buttons stand out as top priority, whereas the secondary buttons, being white with a black-gray outline, don't stand out as much. In addition, we utilize an orange-yellow color to highlight and draw attention to video lessons flagged as free. This color is also used at various other little places in the design as a secondary highlight color. 3. Let's look at shape. With shape, you also primarily have 3 levers to pull on to help establish a hierarchy of importance. The position of the shape, where is it on the page? The amount of a particular shape, and the patterns created or larger shapes created by shape groups. The size of a particular shape or shape group. The relationships created by these dynamics create patterns that can move things up or down in their order of importance. The primary way I'm using shape to differentiate is how elements in text are contained in these blocks, square, rectangle-like shapes. Containing information makes it clear that they are meant to be seen as self-contained items or cards. In this case, course cards on the course index page and lesson rows on the individual course pages. In addition, these contained items all look similar, so they can go together and in some ways can be seen as one larger shape, which sets them apart from those things not in containers. Remember, hierarchy is all about leading the user by establishing an order of importance. Using simple design tools like typography, color, and shape, we move our designs towards a clearer hierarchy. As you are designing, step back from your work and blur out the page, say even just by squinting, and see what stands out the most. That is your hierarchy. Ask yourself, is it clear? If it's not, try to adjust things using your design tools to make it clear. The clearer it is to you, the more likely the clearer it is for your user. Use hierarchy to guide your customers or your users towards finding the answers that they are looking for.